Alright, so the focus of this video is X-linked genes, also called sex-linked genes because they're about genes specifically found on the X chromosome. It'll be just kind of like the last one, again, an example of non-Mendelian genetics, so kind of when we don't have the expected, right, come out from a cross, and it'll be another short video, not too much to go over for this one. So again, big thing, it's an X-linked recessive type of inheritance, so basically there's a mutation in a gene on the X chromosome. And what this actually causes is the phenotype, that recessive mutation phenotype, to always be expressed in males and in females who are homozygous for that gene. So why is that? Well, we know males chromosomally have an X and a Y chromosome. So they're going to get that X chromosome from mom. And if mom has this X-linked recessive mutation, well, that's the only X chromosome they're going to get, they're going to have that recessive trait. Females, on the other hand, have two X chromosomes. They get one from mom, one from dad. The one from mom, if they get that recessive mutation and they get that same thing from the dad, then they're going to have that recessive trait. If they get the recessive mutation from mom and the totally normal version of that trait from dad, then they're not going to show this recessive X-linked phenotype. So males only need that one X chromosome. Females would need two. But it is a gene found on the X chromosome, which is why it's more likely to affect males than females, because again, males only need that one chromosome. If we take a look kind of at a visual version of really what this means, is, and I have a fly cross right here, the M plus is the wild type, so wild type means completely regular, kind of the norm, right? That's what we'll call it for now. This M, without the plus, means that's that X-linked recessive trait, right, that mutation. So right here I have a totally normal wild-type female and a miniature, so a male that has that mutation. If you look at their offspring, they are all going to be completely normal, completely regular. Reason for that is the mom did not have that mutation, which means the male offspring also did not have that mutation, right? You see they got the Y from the dad, which doesn't have any mutation on it. They got the X from the mom, which also doesn't have the mutation on it. The females got one of each. They got one of the wild type alleles from mom, one of the mutated alleles from dad, but since they would need two recessive alleles to have the recessive phenotype, they are all phenotypically completely normal. Genotypically, they are heterozygous, but none of these offspring are going to show that trait. Over here, kind of on the other side, now I have a miniature female, so I have a parent, a mom, right, that has two of those X-linked mutations. And I have a wild-type male, so a completely normal, non-miniature male. Their offspring are going to have a mixture. Females are going to be phenotypically completely normal. Males are not. And again, if you look down here, the females, although they did get one of those mutated alleles from the mom, they got a wild type from the dad, so they're going to have that dominant wild-type phenotype. The males, however, got the normal Y from the male parent, and since the female parent only had those two recessive mutated alleles, that's what they got. So now I would have affected males and non-affected or unaffected females. So that's what we were kind of talking about when we say usually these X-linked traits usually only affect the males. Doesn't mean they won't affect the females, but it's more common to show a bigger kind of domino effect for the males. Last thing we're going to look at for X-linked genes or traits is a pedigree. It's a good way to see kind of how it travels. So the filled in, right, well, circles are female, squares are male. Filled in means they show the recessive trait in this case. That's not for every case. So I have an affected female, which means two X chromosomes each have that recessive mutation. If you look, these four shapes right here, these two circles, these two squares, are the offspring of these two parents, so they're kind of the first generation. The only ones that are affected are the males, because they got that mutation from the mom. The females are unaffected because they had the mutated allele from the mom, but a normal allele from the dad. So it only affects males. Then you could follow it down to their children and see again over here, well, now I have two affected parents, so all their children are going to have whatever recessive trait we're talking about. Over here, I have the daughter of these parents, right, and then the male. this child, this offspring, would be a carrier, right? Because they got one recessive allele from mom, one regular one from dad, so they're a carrier, which means we would expect a good chance, like a 50% chance of the sons having that trait, which is what we see down here. I have one affected male, one unaffected male. But again, just hammering home the idea that X-linked inheritance is where I have a mutation on the X chromosome, usually affects males, since males only have one X chromosome, so if they have at least one, they show that recessive trait.